Choplifter HD is nothing if not true to its name. The game is essentially a dolled-up version of 1982's Choplifter, offering a few innovations besides the modest graphical paint job. It's a return to the 80s in the same sense as a Corey Feldman movie marathon. It's shallow, devoid of humor, and awkward. Well, maybe except for the Goonies. I think we can all say the Goonies were great. Hardcore fans of the series will be pleased to see a devout remake, but newcomers will be less than satisfied with the outdated mechanics. Choplifter HD's premise is basic. Fly a helicopter, save wounded allies, and avoid enemies. Pilots will also have to manage their fuel intake, account for passenger capacity, and of course protect their choppers from incoming fire. While Choplifter HD is unoriginal in its premise, the controls are rather unusual. Unlike other 2D agile side-scrollers, Choplifter HD is clunky due to momentum and weight of the helicopters. The slow-moving choppers not only serve to be an annoyance, but become seriously problematic when matched against the ever-escalating difficulty present within the later levels. Fans of the series will be pleased to see a return to foreground combat, in which players can use the right/left bumpers to turn into the foreground and take on additional opponents, adding another layer to the aerial bouts. Unfortunately, the field of vision is not taken back far enough to support the foreground combat, often making it difficult to see enemies and objectives. The combat in itself can be somewhat thrilling, as players will be able to use both a mounted machine gun and rockets to decimate their foes. The machine gun in particular is a pleasure to use, as players will be able to use the right analog stick to line up their shots via laser scope. The rockets, while visually appealing, can be rather bothersome to line up, as the auto aim often focuses the rockets to crash into undesirable targets. The diverse array of enemy opposition is actually one of the highlights of Choplifter HD. Every time the player feels they have gotten the hang of dealing with one unit, a new terrifying one is introduced. Unfortunately, Choplifter HD doesn't understand that less is sometimes more, as the game continues to add enemies at an exponential rate. From levels 10 and up, the player is pitted against such a condensed focus of enemy fire that they are left with only two options: to either pitifully crawl through the levels as they take out the opposition threats from a safe distance, or opt to ignore the opposition altogether and simply fly through the level as fast as possible. The real problem with Choplifter HD lies in its inability to tie these elements together effectively. Each element implemented in Choplifter HD contradicts the last. From the timed rescued events to the enemy polluted levels, this game creates a despairingly large gap between engaging in enemy opponents while finishing the level quickly. At first, this dichotomy serves to ramp up the difficulty, which leads to some interesting sequences, but in later levels it only serves to dilute the action. If the gameplay in itself is not insufferable enough, the repetitious level design is sure to drive you over the edge. Choplifter HD attempts to create a facade of diversity by using different threats ranging from simple foreign disasters to terrorist, and my personal favorite and obviously most original, zombie attacks. At the core of it all, it's really all the same thing. Travel to the end of the level, pick up the wounded, and bring them back. Occasionally the game will switch things up. There are missions where the goal is to escape an attack. But all this really entails is hightailing it to the other end of the level as fast as you can, which is what Choplifter HD basically boils down to anyways. Oh, and let us not forget the pertinent failed attempts to create humor. Your sociopathic co-pilot, the narcissistic news anchor, and the countless mindless meat sacks that you will pick up will all attempt to cultivate some sense of witticism and fail miserably in the process. In one particular level, the pilot goes on to make Arnold Schwarzenegger references. Well, in actuality, I shouldn't say references because that would imply that the jokes change. No, instead he opts to spew out of his mouth, "Get to the chopper!" for 10 minutes straight. This is just some of the original witty banter that awaits you. Choplifter HD is a mildly interesting 80s throwback at its best, and a masochistic headache at its worst. Old fans of the series might be happy to have another Choplifter title in their hands, but the truth is that this game, just like the rest of the series, is stuck in the past. Everything from the old jokes to the uninspired combat system is outdated. Worst of all, the series attempts to mask its shortcomings with an insane skill curve. While I can respect a game that provides a high level of difficulty, I cannot respect a game whose difficulty is not indicative of skill, but rather tentative play. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to go to pixelbit.com for more.